We're making chili. Alright, so I just showed how to brown off ground beef, and that's all you do. You start with, this is about 1.5 pounds of 25/75 ground beef. So I browned it, and then I got rid of all the fat. Okay, so I drained that, and I threw it back in the pan, and I've got it on medium heat. Now, I have to say, I am a die-hard chili fan, and if it were possible, I would get in an RV and drive all over the place doing the whole competition chili circuit, but right now I'm just trying to feed the family. So, we're going to make a absolutely delicious, rich in flavor, slow-simmered, basic chili that you can dress up or down, or heat it up, or cool it off, however you want. Alright, so to my 1.5 pounds of ground beef, I've got, I forgot how many, 2 big fat bell peppers. Okay? Now, I will say, if you get Anaheim peppers, if you find those, replace a couple of those for one of the bell peppers. If you want more heat, this is 2 jalapeno peppers, by the way. If you want more heat, replace the jalapenos with serrano peppers. If you have lots of different kinds of fresh chilies, it just means a richer, deeper flavor. So go ahead and experiment with some of the milder chilies that are out there. The heat is in the membrane, so if you get rid of the membrane, you get to keep the flavor and the different flavors of everything, but you don't have the heat to knock your head off. Okay, that was 2 medium-sized onions and about 4 cloves of garlic. Now, there we go. So those are our veggies, and at this point, normally I would stand here and, give it about 5 minutes for everybody to start coming together, but actually I'm not going to give it that much time. I don't have to. We're going to simmer this for, let's see, it's probably about 10:30 now, and the kiddos will be home at about 3:15, so it's going to simmer for a couple, 3 hours at least. Alright, chili is awesome. It's so easy to make, and it's so good for you. I mean, lean protein and the fiber and the fresh veggies, this is good stuff. Okay, hang on, don't move. Okay, now I have 4 of the 28-ounce cans of diced tomatoes. Now, I drained it, so I got the liquid off, and I'm keeping the liquid over here, but for right now, I just have the tomatoes, okay? Now, don't get rid of the liquid yet. Here's the reason. Well, see, there's a bit more that settled out of the tomatoes already. When you're buying tomatoes, be it crushed, or diced, or whole tomatoes, or, tomato sauce or pureed, what you're doing is trading liquid and texture, okay? So I like the diced tomatoes. I like the texture. It's about the right size piece for this pot of chili, but I don't want to make soup, okay? So I actually want to wait. In the bottom of my bowl, even then, just after I drained it, I still had liquid collecting. I want to wait. All of these vegetables are going to start releasing water into this pot, and then I will decide how much of the liquid from the canned tomatoes I'm going to add back in here. Okay? So don't get rid of it yet. And actually, even then, don't get rid of it, because there's something cool you can do with it. Alright, now, at this point, I'm going to let this come up to temperature, kind of to where it would be a simmer. And I'm going to pull out my spices, and I'm going to find my beans, and we'll throw it all together in about, I'd say 10 minutes. Oh, sorry. Alright, so I've let this simmer for a bit, and you can see how much more liquid was released by the vegetables. Yes, a lot of it came out of the tomatoes, even though I drained them, but you're also going to have a bunch that came out of the onion and the garlic and the chilies and the bell pepper, and that's really good stuff. Alright. Now I can tell already, though, that we're going to want a little more than what I've got in here, but I'm ready. So, really the last thing that I'm going to do to this before I simmer it off or whatever is I'm going to add the beans. Yes, I put beans in the chili. This is not competition chili. This is feed my kids chili. That's my dog. And what I've got here are 2 cans of black beans and 2 cans of pinto beans that I drained and rinsed. You can use whatever you want. I usually use red kidney beans. I just was out. You can use all black beans. You can use all pinto beans. It's whatever you like. I happen to like black beans. Love the flavor it gives. I love the texture. And they're so good for you. Alright. Almost there. our seasonings, and this is what makes it chili. And honestly, I will probably come back and add more cumin and more chili powder later because we like the intense spiciness. But start out with about these amounts. It's about right. So I've got about a tablespoon and a half of ground cumin. I've got probably a quarter cup of chili powder. And this is just a commercial chili powder. You can do the whole grind your own thing once you get into it, and I've done that and it's really fun, but this is super easy. And it's nice and mild. If you like lots of heat, they make high heat versions. This is not one. About 2 tablespoons of oregano. And if you find fresh Mexican oregano, sure, go ahead and use that. Just don't use as much because it's stronger. I've only got about a teaspoon and a half each of salt and pepper. Alright, so everybody in here. And I'm not going to adjust the seasonings on that until right before I serve it. You got to give it time for everybody to get to know each other and all the flavors to marry and come together. That's why a lot of these things like that simmer for a long time are better the next day. Chili or beef stew, better the next day. And that's just because the flavors had a chance to come together. Alright, now over here I've got the tomato water that I drained. And I'm going to add just enough to allow this to simmer down, but without making it soupy. Now, by all means, if you like it soupy, knock yourself out. It's up to you. Well, one of the things you're doing when you're simmering is concentrating flavors. And the water from the vegetables actually will dilute the flavor. So you kind of want to strike the balance between just enough liquid, but not so much that your pot can't simmer down and concentrate flavors and get everything all intensified and fabulous. I'm going to put just a little bit more. I'd say, I don't know, maybe a cup and a half is what I ended up putting back in there. Okay? Now, I'm not going to cover this. I'm going to let it come back up to a simmer. And you know, simmer, it's just when the surface of the liquid is barely moving, okay? So I'm going to keep this on pretty low heat, medium low heat, whatever will keep it at a bare simmer. I'm probably going to stir it when I think about it, every half hour or so. And other than that, all this needs is a little bit of time. Alright, so we've had a couple hours with our chili pot, just kind of simmering back here, doing this little thing, and it's really good. Absolutely. Fragrance is really divine, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to dish him up. This is how I like to do it. You can add cheese if you want to. I don't usually put cheese in it, but you can. You can use some cheddar. You can use, I've seen mozzarella. Pepper jack is pretty good. Okay, a little sour cream. And a little fresh cilantro. And that is dinner. Check that out. If you like this video and you want more great tips, tricks, and techniques, check out the website at thrillbillygourmet.com. You can like me on Facebook under The Thrillbilly Gourmet, and you can follow me on Twitter under Jan Charles or The Thrillbilly. I'm on Pinterest now too under Jan Charles. I've also got 2 brand new podcasts, both of which you can find on iTunes. The Thrillbilly Gourmet and The Food City Kitchen on WVLT with Chef Walter Lambert and Jan Charles. Now, make sure you subscribe, and you can ask a question, you can leave a comment, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for visiting.